Welcome to the quietest ones in the room with your host, Trey. Thank you for clicking on this video once again. If you have done so and you're listening to the sound of my voice, just know, you are the most beautiful, intelligent people on the face of the planet. You deserve a round of applause. So. I wanted to come and talk about something that I see oftentimes in the news and on the webosphere, the social medias, all over the place. And it's the reality of how tough it is to live in the United States of America. Wanting a home is not an easy task as it used to be. Wanting a car is not as easy as some would like it to be. Wanting foods, the eggs, we keep talking about the eggs. The prices just keep going up, don't they? And many of us are feeling it more than ever before as inflation is wrecking the mentality of so many people who want to achieve the American dream. So many young people are giving up on the idea of ever owning a home, ever starting a family and having children. People don't know as much as they used to in terms of what they can do to get ahead in the United States of America. I go online and I see video after video of people who have been getting laid off from their jobs, people who can't find work, people whose businesses have failed, people who have lost their homes, people who are getting outbid to purchase a home that they want, even if it's a starter home. People who need vehicles, but when they count the cost of the vehicle and the interest rate, they can't afford those payments. And a lot of people are becoming discouraged because of this and fearful and don't see a way out of this situation, which is really unfortunate because people need something to progress towards. People need to be able to make goals and fulfill those goals in order to feel fulfilled in life, to be happy. And so it got me thinking a little bit about something that I noticed as I see a lot of this content and I hear the real life stories and I read the articles about the shifts in the markets with housing, as I mentioned, and other products and services. It's that fear can play a real part in your life if you allow it to. And when you allow fear to control much of your mentality, you often will try to find ways to cope with the reality that things that you thought were supposed to take place the way you thought they were supposed to take place don't. You try to find different ways to manage that fear and that disappointment. And it's unfortunate, people end up using drugs as a way to cope, whether it's hard drugs or alcohol or, gambling or so many different ways, sex, eating. people find different ways to cope with the disappointments and not being able to achieve the things that they thought that they were going to be able to. What they were told is that, if they just work hard and surround themselves with the right people and have a strong network, they'll get closer and closer to that American dream. But for so many, it's getting further and further away from them, even as they do what they were told by their teachers, their parents, their communities. And so, yeah, so many people have gone the route of taking on vices that help them numb the reality. And I'm disheartened by it. I've been in a place in my life where I thought it was best for me to take on drinking alcohol to cope with things that I was going through. And I know I'm not the only one that's been there, but I found my way out of that muddy water into a better place. And so I'm speaking from experience, and I'm also speaking from just what I would like to see for people who have gotten to that place in their life where fear is the driver, where maybe you don't go after that next job because you've been rejected so many times that you get burnt out with the process of looking for another job, and so because of that, you don't want to continue on with your process. But don't let fear control that. Keep pushing forward. Maybe it's you're in a relationship and things are rocky and you're fearful that you're going to lose more of who you are if you stay in the relationship. Maybe that's not true. Maybe you'll become a better person with that person. I know a lot of people believe, well, if the relationship is difficult, it's best to move on. And there are times when that's the case, but sometimes when you're allowing fear to drive you, it can drive you away from things that are really good for you and your life. Maybe it's that business that you want to start, but you're fearful of it because you don't have all the skills necessary in your mind to be successful. But I would encourage you to try it out anyway. You don't know until you try. Maybe it's that trip you've always wanted to take and you still don't have all the money you thought you'd have at this point in your life, and you're fearful of if you take this trip, you're not going to have what you need to make bills at the end of the month or a couple months from now happen. Maybe you just take the trip. Maybe the trip gives you a new lease on life and you get back and you have all the seeds that you planted grow and they manifest when you return and things are working out. You get that promotion, you have that person that you've been trying to connect with reach out to you, you meet that person. There's so many different ways life can go for you when you let go of that fear and live in a space that's purpose driven, that's mission focused. And it's so easy now with all that we engage with to get caught up in the chaos of just focusing on what makes us fearful instead of finding ways to defeat that fear. Defeat those things that cause the fear. Sometimes it's separating yourself from people who are no good for you. Sometimes it's getting closer to people. Sometimes it's you taking that internal journey of finding ways to be alone and digest your thoughts and your emotions, and going back in your mind about places and times when you might have not been the best version of yourself, and overcoming that fear of you being that person again, and that you're still that person and you can never do better, you can never be better. That's all fear, and it's not true. And you can overcome, and you can be absolved from your past failures. But the picture is painted that that's not possible sometimes, that you're not going to succeed, that your family's not going to accept your mission, that your relationships are going to fail, that you're going to lose every dime you've ever worked for. Those things could very well happen, but it doesn't mean that you have to live in fear and not learn from losses or missed opportunities or failures and grow and become a better version of yourself. No one's going to live this life without having those times when fear gets so big that you can't ignore it. But don't stay stuck. You can get out of it. You can win. You can win. You can win in all areas of life. So I challenge everyone who is still listening to up until this point in the video, in the pod or whatever. Yeah, go for it. Keep saving your money to get that house you want. You know, keep working hard to get that trip you want to take. Keep working hard to meet that person you want to start a family with. That nonprofit organization that you want to start to help people. Keep focusing on these things. Stay focused. Don't let anybody tell you any different than what you know to be true, which is you can overcome any and everything. You don't have to be a victim. So all those enemies in your life, destroy them all. Destroy it all. All that fear. Get it out of your life. I have a quick story of someone that I've known for a long time, and I was talking to them one day, and I realized that in our conversations and after just decades and decades of listening to them, how they allow fear to make a lot of their decisions in life. Like, because of some things that they did in their younger days, in their adolescence, and there was some possible trouble revolving around the situation. Well, not possible. There was some trouble revolving around the situation that they didn't do things like get a driver's license. So they even to this day, after 20 years, 30 years, still don't have a driver's license. Because of that, they didn't get a vehicle. They didn't go for certain jobs that they wanted because they feared a background check revealing some of the things that they had done. There was just so many, there were so many things they avoided because of that mistake that they made. When at some point in life, if they had just gone and faced that fear, maybe to this point, their life would have been completely different. But decades and decades had passed by, where all those decisions based off of fear have been made, and now they are where they are in life. And so I question for myself, in what areas of my life do I or have I allowed fear to dictate my decisions? And after realizing how profound fear can control one's life, I made a conscious decision to not allow fear to dictate anything that I do. And so you have a personal story, and maybe you know others with a personal story of how fear dictates their decision making. And I think for so many of us, even though we understand it's a chaotic time, even though we understand prices are rising, even though we understand there's just so many things that are going on that make everyday things seem more and more out of reach, and family dynamics are shifting and all these different things, that we can still look past it and find a way to not allow fear to make our decisions moving forward. So it's a challenge for me, just like it is for anyone else. But I guarantee you'll get positive results if fear is not at the forefront of your decision making. So thank you. Thank you for your time. Please like, please subscribe. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Maybe of times when fear caused you to make decisions that you now regret, words of encouragement you may give people who are in a place where fear is dictating their life, just how you've overcome things, your challenges, etc. But yeah, I think it's always helpful to hear other stories and how they overcame, and encourage people to get past fear. So until next time.